Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, one and only AR Legends. And yeah, guys, today I am back with the next part of what if Naruto was neglected by Minato and became the Otsutski king. So, yeah, guys, hopefully, guys, enjoyed the previous part of this series. And if you guys have not seen it, please, guys, check it out. You guys will definitely like it. And yeah, guys, if you guys are new to the channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, please guys do so. It would be a lot helpful to me as I want to reach 20k subscribers, and you guys subscribing would be really appreciated. And yeah guys, the link of my Instagram is also in the description below. So please follow me on Instagram. So without wasting any more of your time, let us start the video. So, last time we left off as we saw that Naruto had finally been reborn and decided to absorb the power of Shibai Otsutsuki, the previous king of the Otsutski clan. As Naruto was able to absorb his power, as Naruto noticed that there was a bit of consciousness left in the chakra which was trying to take over his body, but it was still too weak at the moment. So Naruto decided to first of all take care of the Uchiha clan. After all, they have a lot of potential, even reaching that of the Sage of Six Paths, and if Naruto want to take over the things he wants to, then he's gonna need some subordinate for himself. So Naruto decided to save the Uchiha clan and put Itachi in his place. Afterward, he decided to leave Konoha for now. While on the other hand, Third Hokage had just gotten the news. He was really angry and a bit of scared at the same time. After all, this kind of power is not everyday. You said as Itachi was defeated too easily, and Itachi was a cage level shinobi with Mangekyo Sharingan. So they decided to inform Minato, who was the fourth Hokage but still hiding in the shadows and weakening the other hidden villages at the same time and training the so-called children of destiny. While on the other hand, Naruto has finally decided to confront the Otsutsuki, which was hiding in the elemental nation, none other than Ishiki Otsutsuki, as Naruto decided to take care of him, as Ishiki thought that he could take over Naruto's body with his karma seal, since this was only the slither of Shibai's power, and he was confident that he can take Naruto down and take over the power and the true vessel in his eyes. But in the end of the day, it was just a dream, as Naruto was able to crush him pretty easily and decided to feed the power of the Otsutsuki clan to the Ten Tails in the future. After all, he still wants to get more chakra of the Otsutsuki clan so that he can destroy the consciousness left in the chakra which he has absorbed, that of the Shibai Otsutsuki. That was Naruto's plan. While on the other hand, Minato had just gotten the news. After all, Naruto was specially made by Minato because he wanted Naruto to awake the Mangekyo Sharingan and then implant it in himself, and with the blood connection, he was confident that with his seals, he will be able to control the true power of the Mangekyo with no problem, therefore controlling the Kyuubi inside of Menma and Mito, thus making them the perfect Jinchuriki in his hand, therefore becoming the true ruler of the elemental nation. That was the plan of Minato, but in the end of the day, it was spoiled because Naruto refused to die. How could it be acceptable to Minato, who was the most scheming man in the elemental nation at the moment? So he decided to return to the village hidden in the leaves. So yeah guys, that was the last part. If you guys have not seen it, please guys check it out. You guys will like it. Now let us start the story from here. Naruto Uchiha, rather known as Naruto Otsutsuki now. At the moment, he was flying in the mid-air. He could feel the presence of the Kyuubi in this desolate planet. As Naruto smirked at that. After all, he was finding Otsutkis in the universe for now. After all, he wants to weaken the consciousness that is left in the chakra inside of his body, and for that he needs the chakra of the Otsutsuki clan. So Naruto finally decided to land on this planet, as I look forward to see that the whole planet was desolated. Nothing was left behind, only a tree was there, and at the moment it was blooming his, you can say, fruit. He saw that Momoshiki and another Otsutsuki was present here, as Momoshiki had just thrown the other Otsutsuki inside of the mouth of the Ten Tails, and therefore now it was gonna bring the chakra fruit, as Momoshiki was ready to accept the chakra fruit, but he sensed something as he looked upward into the sky. This chakra, how could it even be possible? After all, he has sensed this chakra thousands of years ago, centuries, no, eons ago. And that was when he was just a child. This was the chakra of Shibai Otsutski. As he looked back to see that another figure was flying in the mid-air, looking down upon him as Momoshiki frowned. This was the chakra of the Otsutski clan. But no, he was the one sent here, and he had planted this fruit here around 200 years ago, and now it was gonna, you can say, give him the fruit. So what is going on here? As he looked beside him to see that a weak person was there, on him the mark of the karma seal was present on this person. But Momoshiki shook his head and started to fly in the mid-air, wondering who this person was. As Naruto looked towards Momoshiki and a smirk came to his face. He has found this person. After all, this was the guy who has arrived to the Elemental Nation, finding Kaguya in his previous life. But Naruto simply shook his head, looking towards Momoshiki and ignoring him, and looking toward the chakra fruit. This was really something. After all, it is rather interesting. As Naruto smirked at that and completely ignoring Momoshiki, who was about to speak, as Naruto appeared beside the chakra fruit, which was about to, you can say, be produced. As Momoshiki's eyes narrowed, this person, he was not an Otsutski. He has sensed it. This guy was definitely not an Otsutski. As he appeared beside Naruto, who are you and what do you want? As Naruto simply ignored him. So this is the power of the chakra fruit, which has been sacrificed with that of the Otsutski clan. Interesting. As Naruto looked towards the fruit, which was not yet ready, as Momoshiki's eyes narrowed. Do you really want to take the chakra fruit? You're really a fool. I do not know how did you get that chakra, but it is nothing compared to the original deal. So therefore, you're gonna die here. As with that, Momoshiki disappeared from the place and appearing in front of Naruto, ready to slam a Bijudama which he had made in his hand, ready to end Naruto and investigate later. Who knows, he could even absorb the power of Shibai Otsutsuki that was inside of this person for whatever reason. He will find it in the future. First, take him down. But Naruto simply grabbed the hand of Momoshiki, in which the Bijudama was still forming. As Naruto closed the hand, as Momoshiki's eyes widened, as a huge explosion took place, as Momoshiki wanted to scream, but it was a bit too late for that. Boom! As Momoshiki finally the dust settled down, his hand was literally blown off. As Momoshiki gritted his teeth and glared towards Naruto. You! As Naruto simply ignored him, the chakra fruit was now ready. As Naruto was about to grab him, but another figure appeared beside Naruto trying to attack him, but Naruto simply ignored him and backhanded him. This person had the marking of the karma seal all over his body. This was the vessel of the servant of Momoshiki. As Momoshiki gritted his teeth, as he said, Kinshiki, not now, you're not ready. Come here, as he grabbed Kinshiki and started to absorb him forcefully. After all, he has realized that this person is a bit too powerful. He needs to get his further form. As Kinshiki simply nodded. After all, he was just a side branch member. As Naruto looked towards Momoshiki, a bit intrigued, he could feel the power in that little fruit. So you can do that as well. As Naruto thought it for some time, converting an Otsutsuki into forcefully into a chakra fruit. But Naruto simply shook his head. It was not as powerful that of the chakra fruit bore by this tree. As Momoshiki ate away the fruit and finally transformed into his final form, glaring towards Naruto. Alright, this is over. After saying that, he disappeared, appearing in front of Naruto and slamming his face on his face, ready to send him flying. But to his surprise, Naruto did not even move, not even an inch. As Naruto looked towards Momoshiki and a cruel smirk came to his face. You know, I wanted to test my strength since you have volunteered to be my punching bag, so why not? After saying that, Naruto simply grabbed the hand of Momoshiki and twisted it. As Momoshiki let out a scream, his whole arm was broken. As Naruto slammed his kick on the face of Momoshiki, sending him flying into the tree. As Momoshiki gritted his teeth, as he decided to absorb the tree. But before he could do that, Naruto forcefully grabbed the fruit of the tree. As Momoshiki gritted his teeth, he had already gotten the fruit, but there is still chakra left in the tree, so he quickly absorbed the tree and glared towards Naruto. His power has once again skyrocketed as he rushed towards Naruto. As Naruto simply a portal appeared beside Naruto as Naruto threw the fruit inside of it. For now, he wants to test his strength. No need to improve his strength further for now. Naruto also disappeared in the center of the planet. Two figures appeared as their fists collided with each other as a boom, as a shockwave erupted, as the whole planet started to shake. After all, this planet was already sucked dry by the Ten Tails, and now it was already on the verge of explosion as both of them started to fight. As Naruto had a huge smirk on his face, Momoshiki, who has absorbed the power of the tree, or rather the power of a weakened Ten Tails, was now even stronger than his final form, as both of them were now fighting all over the planet as Momoshiki made a gigantic tail beast bomb and released it towards Naruto. As Naruto simply laughed, his hand started to glow as a beam of energy slammed into the tail beast bomb and completely tearing it apart as Momoshiki's eyes widened as he crossed his arm. The beam slammed into his body and a huge explosion took place as Momoshiki was now panting. He had already exhausted a lot of chakra in this fight. This person, whoever he was simply too powerful. As Naruto simply shook his head, he had his fun, but now it was time to end it as Naruto appeared in front of Momoshiki with a finger on his forehead as Naruto flipped his finger as a gigantic force slam into the forehead of Momoshiki. His eyes widened and he was quickly knocked out of his final form and slammed into the ground unconscious as Naruto simply smirked at that. As Naruto smirked, after all, he could simply absorb Momoshiki, but the chakra he will get from it will not be that much. Even converting Momoshiki into a chakra fruit will not give him that much. He's gonna sacrifice Momoshiki to the meaning 10 tails of Ishiki and therefore getting an even stronger chakra fruit, and he will have two chakra fruits. As Naruto smirked at that, this is the way to go. Simply absorbing the otsutski clan power will not be enough. The chakra fruit is truly the way to go. As Naruto simply smirked at that and disappeared with Momoshiki. While on the other hand, in the Elemental Nation, the news spread like wildfire across the Elemental Nation that the Uchiha clan has betrayed Konoha and have defected. This news spread to all of the Elemental Nation and villages. As Onoki looked towards the scroll which he has gotten from the spy, he had a huge smile on his face. After all, if the Uchiha clan has left Konoha, which means that they're gonna join a new clan or a new village. As he snapped his finger and Ambu landed beside him. Quickly, give me the location of the Uchiha clan as soon as possible. We have to move as fast as possible. We will get the Uchiha clan to join our village. And if they do not agree, well, as a smirk at that, they will simply be forced to be, you can say, they will be slaughtered and some of the children will be brought back so that in the future they can have their own Uchiha clan. This was the same scene going on across all the villages. Even the Sand village and some of the minor villages were tempted with that, while on the other hand, Konoha was not exactly happy about it. Tadokage sighed, things are getting out of hand. Minato's plan was not working well for now, and he is definitely gonna blame him for that. As Tadokage sighed, when he had taken the position of the Hokage, he decided to take care of the obstacles in front of him. The most important obstacle was the Senju and the Uchiha clan. After all, he was not that powerful, and if one day another shinobi appeared in the Senju or the Uchiha clan like Madara or Hashirama, how will he be able to go on as the Hokage? So he decided to get rid of the Senju clan, but who knew that his sensei Tobirama was even more crueler than he thought. He did not die that day fighting against the Kumo shinobi. No, he was alive hiding in the shadows. The shinobis he thought were dead were actually rescued, and afterward Tobirama appeared with a single seal. All the Konoha high-ranking like Hiruzen, Danzo, and the elders were on their knees. This was the curse mark made by Tobirama, and afterward they were simply honest, realizing that they were nothing but puppet rulers in the hands of Tobirama, and their greed was quickly squashed by him. And afterward Minato, who followed the footsteps of Tobirama, was even more ruthless than Tobirama, as Hadokage simply shook his head. This was not the thing he wanted to think about it. After all, he was never the true Hokage, as he simply laughed bitterly. As he quickly shook his head, another scroll appeared with the toad. As Tadokage grabbed the scroll and opened it, wondering what will be the order of Minato this time. But when he opened the scroll, his eyes widened. Could it be? It seemed that Minato has decided to return back to the village and take over as the fourth Hokage. As third Hokage frowned at that, but simply shook his head. He's not gonna think about it. There are still seals placed upon his soul, his very soul. He cannot simply release them, and Minato has the control over it. And he's still the fourth Hokage, so he simply shook his head as he quickly tossed the scroll to his friend Danzo and the elders who also read it and looked towards each other but simply shook their head. After all, there's little they could do about it. Finally, you can say the news spread like wildfire that the fourth Hokage and his children are not dead and they're returning back to the village to take over, as the villagers were really happy about it. After all, Minato was like a hero to them. Finally, Minato looked towards Kushina. Well, Kushina, we're returning back to home, so are you happy about it? As Kushina smiled at that, after all, Minato was gonna take the position of the Hokage once again, and she will be the wife of the Hokage. While on the other hand, Menma and Mito were looking towards each other, pride in their eyes. After all, they're returning as heroes. While on the other hand, Minato had other plans. Damn it, if that brat did not run off, why would I return now? Now, the situation of the Uchiha clan, I have to find them as soon as possible, and I cannot do that without the position of the Hokage. Damn, those old men are really useless, as Minato thought in his mind, thinking that third Hokage was truly useless. Maybe he should get rid of him, but he simply shook his head. A thing for another day. As he simply smiled towards his family, and finally they have arrived to the gate of Konoha. The villagers and the clan heads happily welcomed all of them, and third Hokage told them that how it was the plan so that they can, you can say, train to become even stronger and things like that. So the villagers simply bought it. After all, Minato was still the hero in their eyes. Finally, in the office of Hokage, Minato had just sent off Kushina with Tsunade as well as Menma and Mito to their home, and now the smile on Minato's face disappeared as a cold, killing intent spread across the whole room. As third Hokage and Danzo and the elders were looking towards Minato a bit nervously, as Minato simply looked towards them with cold expression. So tell me, how did the plan gone off? After all, did I not told you guys to keep an eye on that brat? At this, third Hokage gulped a little. Well, Minato, things were going exactly well. We had his development under control, as third Hokage quickly gave Minato a scroll about the progress of Naruto, but Minato did not even look towards it. After all, he knows everything about that brat. He was still wondering what did go wrong. Could it be that he had realized his plan and therefore he distrend? But Minato simply shook his head. How is that even possible? There were several ambushes, and time to time the Yamanaka clan, the root Yamanaka to be exact, were already keeping an eye on his mind state, so that there was nothing that was hidden from the eyes of Minato. So how could it be that that brat slipped through his finger? As Minato's eyes narrowed at that, as third Hokage looked towards Minato, he was about to say something. Regardless, I entrusted my plan to you fools, but you damn old bastards let it go through your fingers. As Minato's voice was now getting higher and higher, as Minato made a seal, as the look of horror appeared on third Hokage, Danzo and the elders, and they were on their knees at that. After all, the pain that was in their very souls was beyond description, as they wanted to say something but they were already in way too much agony. As Minato scoffed at that, these slaves were really useless, as Minato thought in his mind. Finally he let go of them, and they were panting hard. As Minato simply scoffed. Alright, Danzo, tell me, did you find the location of the Uchiha clan? And do not say that you do not know, as Danzo gulped a little. After all, he has sent almost all of his route to find the location of the Uchiha clan, but it was like that they have disappeared from the face of the planet, and they were unable to find anything. As Danzo looked towards Hiruzen asking for help, but Hiruzen did not even look towards him. As Danzo gritted his teeth. My lord, I have sent my route to find them. They have found some clues. Soon enough, we will find the location of the Uchiha clan. As Minato nodded at that, he was a Senju. He hated the Uchiha to his very core, and sooner or later he will get rid of them and their eyes will belong to them. As Minato smirked at that, as he said, alright then, get lost, and find the location of the Uchiha, especially that brat. His eyes belong to me. As that, Hiruzen and the elders and Danzo simply nodded and quickly escape from the office as Minato smirked at that. Sooner or later, he will get those eyes, and afterward, he will control the power of the Kyuubi inside of Man Mito, making them perfect Jinchuriki and therefore controlling the elemental nation. As Minato smirked at that, after all, he was not simply laying around all of this time as Minato moved his hand, which turned into pure wood. As Minato smirked at that, the power of Hashirama was already inside of his body, the wood style, even though it was not as powerful as Hashirama, but Minato was confident that it was enough. And on top of that, once he has the same eyes as Madara, then he will be truly stronger than Hashirama and Madara, the strongest person with the Kyuubi hand in hand, the power of the Mokitan, the Sage Mode, the Horizon, as well as the eyes of Madara Uchiha. He will truly be the strongest in the Elemental Nation as Minato smirked at that and started to laugh like a madman, while on the other hand, Naruto has finally returned to the Elemental Nation. He was still finding the location of the Otsutski clan, but it seemed that they were in different dimensions, and at the moment Naruto was unable to find them. It was simply too far away. But sooner or later, he will get his hand on those Otsutskis. The pure-blooded, as Naruto looked towards the moon, he could still feel that some of the Otsutski branch members were present there, but Naruto simply shook his head. Their bloodline was not pure enough. It was not helpful to him, but he will take care of them sooner or later. As Naruto finally arrived in the dimension of Ishiki, suddenly he was attacked by the member of Kara organization, which has been recruited by Ishiki, but they were not as powerful as Naruto remembered. But Naruto simply shook his head and looked towards them. Suddenly, his Rinne Sharingan opened up, and quickly all the eyes of the Kara members changed into that of Naruto's, and now they were under his control. As Naruto simply smirked at that, after all, he was still interested in the whole research of these people, and he's gonna take advantage of that. As Naruto simply gave some orders and they disappeared. While on the other hand, Naruto has finally arrived in the dimension where the mini Ten Tails was being held. As Naruto finally arrived, as the Ten Tails quickly noticed him and started to cry like the baby. But Naruto simply shook his head as Naruto quickly opened a portal and a tied up Momoshiki finally was brought out. As Momoshiki finally opened his eyes and started to look around, wondering where he was. But he quickly noticed Naruto as he said, "You, what do you want from me?" As Momoshiki quickly noticed that he cannot access his chakra, he was tied down with these chains. As Naruto simply smirked at him, "Well, it is time for you to be the food of the Ten Tails." At this, Momoshiki's eyes widened as he looked back towards the mini Ten Tails. You cannot sacrifice me. I'm the main branch member. You cannot kill me." As Naruto simply looked towards him and chuckled, "And why can I not kill you?" At this, Momoshiki said, "It is against the laws of the Otsutsuki clan. The Otsutsuki clan members cannot kill each other. You cannot kill me." At this, Naruto started to laugh. "Perhaps you have forgotten, Momoshiki. I am not an Otsutsuki." As Momoshiki quickly realized that this person somehow has gotten the power of Shibai Otsutsuki, the previous king, and now he seems to have gotten even stronger, as he was really scared now. After all, there was no person on which he has planted his karma seal. If he is sacrificed through the Ten Tails, then he is truly dead. As he started to look around, wondering if he can put his karma seal on anyone, but there was only Naruto here. As he gritted his teeth and lunged towards Naruto, ready to implant his karma seal, as Naruto simply laughed at that. After all, he had already seen what Momoshiki was trying to do, but Naruto did not give him the opportunity. As Naruto quickly grabbed the end of the chain and threw Momoshiki in the direction of the Ten Tails and gave Ten Tails a look. As Ten Tails, realizing that even though these two people were beyond his understanding of power, but that other Momoshiki guy was simply weak, so he's gonna eat him to give the chakra fruit. Finally, the Ten Tails opened his mouth and ate away Momoshiki, who was still screaming that how he cannot die and how he's the main branch member, but it was a bit too late to say anything. As the ten tails finally closed his mouth, as his whole body started to glow at that, as Naruto looked towards the ten tails, which was now transforming into that of a tree. As Naruto smirked at that, he could feel the power, even though the ten tails was not fully developed, but Momoshiki was far stronger than any normal otsutski clan member. He had absorbed not only a weaker version of the Ten Tails before, he had also, you can say, absorbed another otsutski clan member, and he himself was a main branch member. So therefore, he was far stronger to be just a sacrifice. And just like he had expected, as the chakra fruit finally started to appear on the body of the tree, as Naruto simply smirked as he moved his hand, and the fruit started to appear in front of Naruto, as Naruto simply started to laugh, as afterward he started to eat away at the chakra fruit, and finally his whole body started to glow with immense chakra. His whole body was now glowing white as a coat appeared around his body, that of the, you can say, like the ten-tailed Jinchuriki, or rather the KCM mode of Naruto, but different, that of the white color, and you can say the truth-seeking orb started to glow even further and started to change color into pure white. As Naruto's eyes started to rotate violently, another pattern appeared in his eye, even on his forehead. Another dojutsu has appeared. It was like that of the Jogan. As Naruto simply smirked at that, he could feel the power of Shibai getting stronger, and the consciousness in the chakra started to get weaker and weaker, and Naruto started to implant his own consciousness in the chakra so that he can permanently make this chakra that of himself. As Naruto simply smirked at that, he had quickly absorbed the power of this chakra fruit. Suddenly, another portal appeared beside him. Another chakra fruit appeared in Naruto's hand. This was a lot weaker than the other chakra fruit, but it still has the power of a planet inside of it. So Naruto did not get too stingy and quickly ate it away. And this improved his powers even further, even though there was no visible change in his dojutsu or in his, you can say, transformation, but the power has increased hundreds, if not thousands, of fold. As Naruto simply smirked at that, as he looked towards his hand, he could feel like he can destroy this whole planet with a wave of his hand if he so desired. As Naruto simply smirked at that, finally, it was time for him to implant his plans even further, as Naruto opened another portal and entered into it. After all, now it is time for him to improve his strength even further. While, on the other hand, in Konoha, Minato looked towards the report in front of him. It was almost a half a year, but no information was found about the Uchiha clan, and no information was found about his son Naruto, as Minato glared towards Danzo, who was now sweating a little bit in front of him, as well as the third Hokage, who was in charge of Root and Ambu respectively. And now it seemed that both of them were useless, as Minato glared towards them but simply scoffed at that. It seemed that he has to take action personally. But before Minato could say anything, a puff of smoke appeared in the room, as it was none other than Jiraiya, who has arrived. As Minato looked towards Jiraiya, Jiraiya-sensei, do you have any information? As Jiraiya looked towards Minato, well Minato, at least great your sensei. As Minato simply gave him a look, as Jiraiya sighed, well, I have found traces of some, you can say, unusual activities that are going on in the hidden snow country. At this, Minato raised an eyebrow at that. It was just a small country covered in snow with no, you can say, development perspective. Even if Konoha were to take over this small country, they would have to invest on it rather than taking advantage of it. As he was wondering, suddenly Tadokage spoke up. Could it be that Uchiha clan is hiding in the snow country? As Jiraiya shook his head, I have found some traces of the unusual activities, but no traces of the Uchihas were found in it. But there is a high possibility that there could be a link. After all, these activities appeared around 1 month after the Uchihas disappeared. At this, Minato's eyes narrowed at that. Could it be? As he quickly looked towards Jiraiya, well, sensei, investigate about it, but do not forget the Chunin exam are coming soon enough. Menma Mito are gonna take part in the Chunin exam. As Jiraiya simply nodded at that. After all, he still knows the importance of Menma and Mito, as Jiraiya believed that Menma and Mito are the children of destiny, while Minato did not believe in such things. After all, Minato himself believed that he is the destined one, but there's still importance placed on Menma and Mito. After all, there was still the Chinchuri case, and Minato has plans for them in the future once he had Menma and Mito under control, and therefore becoming the perfect Jinchuriki, he will have supreme power in his hand. So therefore, he wants to simply train them to become stronger weapons for himself. So Minato still plays a bit of importance on Menma and Mito. At that, as Jiraiya simply nodded at that, alright Minato, I will take care of it. I will send some tours to investigate in this matter, as Minato simply nodded at that. While far away in a cave, 10 members were present there. These were the members of the Akatsuki organization. At the moment, they were gathered here, even though Obito was dead. But that does not mean that the Akatsuki was no longer in place. After all, Obito had already made Nagato the dark part, and he was already Pain, the leader of the organization. So even without Obito, they were still going on with their plans, as you can say. Itachi Uchiha was present here. After all, he was sent as a spy in this organization by third Hokage, and Minato wanted to get the information about the Rinnegan. So he has sent him here as well. Finally, they were gathered here. As you can say, Pain spoke up. Tell us, Zetsu, did you find the location of the Uchiha clan? At this, Itachi's eyes flickered a little bit. As Zetsu simply shook his head. Even Zetsu was a bit, you can say, frustrated at this point. After all, you have to know that he was thousands of years old and he has been planting, you can say, a lot of schemes in this Elemental nation for his own plans in the future, and now he was unable to find the location of a simple Uchiha clan. That was, you can say, he was a bit angry about this whole ordeal. One part of his body was almost destroyed by that Naruto person, but now it seemed that he was able to, you can say, resurrect himself with one technique he had implanted here. That was the reason he was still alive. Otherwise, that Naruto person would have definitely killed him. And now he was unable to find the location of any of those people, and he was a bit frustrated at that. While on the other hand, Pain simply shook his head. It doesn't matter. Our plan is not to take care of the Uchiha clan, but rather to find all the Jinchurikis and therefore making our perfect weapon so that we can bring peace through the Elemental nation. At this, all the members of the Akatsuki simply nodded at that, but before they can say anything else, suddenly a portal appeared in there. As all the members were surprised, as Nagato's eyes narrowed. After all, this power he was sensing from it was space-time. But before they can say anything, a figure appeared from the portal. This was none other than our Naruto. Naruto now was the same age of that of Itachi. As Naruto started to look around, and finally his eyes met with that of the Rinnegan. As Naruto simply smirked at that, Naruto has changed, truly. His body, his power was a lot different. His hair had turned completely white, and his eyes were white like the Byakugan at the same time. As Naruto finally looked towards Pain, finally, I have found you. As before, Pain could say anything. Naruto simply ignored him and looked directly into the Gedomazu that was behind Pain. As the eyes of the Gedo statue finally were snapped open, it could feel its own power that was far greater than its own. As the Gedomazu started to scream in pure fear. After all, his, you can say, instincts were telling him that this person would end him. It would devour him, just like that woman before. As Pain was a bit confused what was going on with the Gedomazu, as he quickly activated his Rinnegan power and sent the Gedomazu away. As Naruto simply shook his head, he has already locked the Gedo statue. He could summon it anytime, and he still knows the dimension in which the Gedomazu was being held. As Pain looked towards Naruto Uchiha, we were finding you. And finally, Deidara speak up. Hey, boss, are you sure that he's not a Hyuga and a Uchiha? At this, even Itachi's eyes narrowed at that, wondering if this guy was truly Naruto Uchiha. After all, Byakugan was still present in Naruto's eyes. As Naruto simply chuckled at that. Uchiha. Yuga, all these are nothing. You can call me Naruto Otsutski if you so desire. At this, Pain eyes narrowed at that. This person, he wanted to find this guy to be a member of the Akatsuki, but he was simply too arrogant, especially that space-time. And now, technique, and now his eyes were Byakugan. What was going on here? But one thing was for certain, this guy was a threat and has to be taken down, as all the members of the Akatsuki were ready. As Pain spoke up, Naruto Uchiha, as a god, I would like to invite you to be a member of the Akatsuki organization. As Naruto looked towards Pain, you, a god. Ha, what a fool you are. As Naruto simply shook his head and looked towards Pain in amusement. As Pain's eyes narrowed at that. Alright then, if you do not want to join our organization, then we will simply hand you over to Konoha for your bounty. After saying that, he gave a signal as Kakuzu smirked. All of his 5 hearts had finally appeared. After all, this guy has the Mangekyo Sharingan, and now he seems to have the Byakugan as well. So he has to ready for anything. All of his masks attack Naruto, and the other Akatsuki member like Sasori and Deidara started to prepare their attacks like Puppet and the Clay Bird attack, as Naruto simply shook his head. Weak. After saying that, he let out his chakra. Suddenly, the whole cave started to shake violently. The whole elemental nation shook for a second. And just like that, you can say the whole place exploded as finally the whole cave was simply disappeared, and now they were on the ground. All around him, Deidara had his hand blown off as Sasori finally appeared from his puppet. His third Tatsukage puppet was also destroyed, while on the other hand, Kisame's hand was also exploded off, but it was being regenerated. Itachi had to activate his Susanoo, which had also been half destroyed. Pain's path were also destroyed as Pain gritted his teeth, looking towards Naruto. All 5 of his parts were destroyed within seconds. How is this even possible? That explosion of chakra appeared out of nowhere. As Naruto looked towards all of them with amusement in his eyes, Zetsu, who was trying to escape, Naruto had already locked him in. After all, he still has plans for these people, so he will keep them alive for now. While on the other hand, Pain stood up. You will pay for that. As finally he put his hand towards Naruto, almighty push as he screamed, as a huge, you can say, gravitational force slammed into the body of Naruto. As Pain was ready to see him being sent flying, as well as the Akatsuki members. So they have already made plans and prepared their new attacks to attack Naruto once he is sent flying. But to their utter shock, Naruto simply started to walk towards the Pain, not even feeling the gravitational push. As Pain was utterly shocked, he was confident that his attack has hit Naruto. So why was he not being sent flying? How is this even possible? As he was thinking in his mind, as Naruto simply shook his head. Pain, even with the Rinnegan, you're nothing. After saying that, Naruto opened his eyes, and now the same Rinnegan was present in Naruto's eyes. As Pain was taken aback, how is this even possible? He was the chosen one, the child of destiny, like the Jiraiya Sensei has told him. With the Rinnegan, he should be the supreme power of this elemental nation, this planet. So why is this even happening? As he started to think that, while on the other hand, Naruto simply shook his head. Your attack is pathetic. Let me show you the true almighty push. After saying that, Naruto put his hand towards all of them, and before they were prepared, a huge force slammed into their body, crushing them. The whole, you can say, puppet of the Pain was literally destroyed. Itachi, who once again activated his Susanoo to the third form, shattered into pieces as Itachi was now bleeding from both eyes. He was sent flying. And at the same time, the bodies of Sasori and Deidara were already crushed beyond recognition. Even Kisame, who tried to absorb the attack, the whole, you can say, his Samehada had exploded, and Kisame was beyond shock at that. Kakuzu's 5 hearts were already destroyed, so he was already dead. As well as, you can say, the so-called immortal Hidan, his body was already turned into beyond recognition in the first attack to begin with. So now only Itachi was somewhat standing, as Naruto simply looked towards him and simply ignored him. After all, Itachi was truly useless for his plans, and he already know the usefulness of Itachi could only be for Konoha. So Naruto ignored him for now, as Naruto disappeared and appeared in the same tree in which, you can say, Nagato and Conan were hiding. As Nagato opened his eyes and looked towards Naruto in utter shock. How is this possible? Why do you have the Rinnegan? only I possess the Rinnegan, as Naruto simply smirked at that as Konan tried to attack Naruto, but Naruto simply moved his hand and the, you can say, movement of Konan was stopped as if her whole body control was out of her hands now. As Naruto looked towards Nagato, what a fool you are. But then again, you could be useful to me. Tell me, do you really want to resurrect the Ten Tails? Do you really believe that with the Rinnegan you can control its power? And before you answer that, you have to know that even the Sage of Six Paths had to become the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails to be able to control its power. At this, Nagato wanted to say that with his Rinnegan he could control the power of the Ten Tails, but now, hearing that, even the Sage of Six Paths with the Rinnegan had to become the Jinchuriki, as he wanted to say that he could become the Jinchuriki, but then he looked towards his body, which was already crippled beyond imagination. How could he control the power of something like the Ten Tails, the combination of all the Bijus? As Nagato was really silent for now, as not to smirk at that. Do you know your plan? Do you even know the origin of the Ten Tails and how you're being manipulated like that fake Madara? And before you said, yes, I was the one who killed him all those years ago, as Naruto snapped his finger and the slither of chakra entered into the head of Nagato, as Naruto got all the information about the Otsutski clan, the origin of the Ten Tails, and what will happen once the Infinite Tsukiyomi would be cast. The Kaguya Otsutsuki would be freed, as Nagato was beyond horrified. He thought that with the Rinnegan he was at the pinnacle of the world, but now realizing that he would be nothing even if he were to become the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. There are Otsutkis there who can easily take care of him. As Nagato was now really silent now, how could he, you can say, bring peace to the elemental nation? Even with the power of the Ten Tails, there are tracks like the Otsutsuki, especially someone like Naruto. Now he realized that why Naruto was so powerful. Could it be that he has eaten the chakra fruit? As he was really horrified now. After all, even the Ten Tails has to bow down to someone who has ate the chakra fruit. Nagato. Do you want to take revenge on Konoha? At this, you can say Nagato's eyes widened. After all, Konoha shinobis were the one who had killed off his parent all those years ago, and Danzo was the one who caused the death of Yahiko as he created his state at that. If you were to become my subordinate, then I promise you that you will become the new Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. Not only that, I will even heal you up. If you become my subordinate, then you will be even stronger than the Otsutskis. At this, Nagato was really thinking about it. After all, he cannot kill this person. He was beyond his league. Even with the Rinnegan, he was nothing. On top of that, he was really a crippled. He cannot become the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. It was simply not possible. As he thought it for some time, but simply nodded at that. After all, he knows that if he were to refuse Naruto now, he will definitely die along with Konan, and he cannot bear for Konan to die. She was his only friend left. And with following Naruto, he can, you can say, take revenge on Konoha. So he will submit. As Nagato finally looked towards Naruto, what do you want me to do? As a smirk finally came to Naruto's face. After all, he has not forgotten about Konoha, not about the Elemental Nation. Even though he was beyond the league of these people, he can simply end them if he so desire. But he still wants to take revenge. So how is this possible that he can simply kill them? No, he wants to make them suffer, especially that man. As Naruto thought about Minato as he created his state at that. He will take everything from that man, his plans for the future. He will show him that the so-called power he had planned for years, the power of Hashirama Madara, the power of the Kyuubi, it was nothing to someone like him. As Naruto simply smirked at that. Just you wait, my dear father. I'm coming for you. With that, Naruto started to laugh. But hey guys, I'm gonna end this part here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. For the next part, the like goal is gonna be 200 likes, and comment goal is gonna be 30 comments. If you can do that, then I shall upload the next part as soon as possible. So yeah guys, see you soon, and comment, like and subscribe, and yeah, peace. And yeah guys, the link of my Instagram is also in the description below, so please follow me on Instagram. So yeah guys, see you soon, peace.